Okay, thank you. Am I visible and audible?
You're audible. We cannot yet see
Okay,
you.
I'm going to just, okay. Can you see me?
No.
Okay, I'm going to just carry on without my video then.
Okay,
That's okay.
that's fine.
Okay, so thank you very much for having me. I'm going to just start by saying that I don't have a formal presentation and I don't represent a specific organization at this point either. But equally, I think for that reason, I'm extremely excited to be invited because I think there's an opportunity here for people with my background, and I'll get to my background in a bit, to try and attempt to reframe the dialogue on justice. I graduated in 1990, so I've been working in the area of corporate law for 27 years now. Fortunately for us, a lot of our corporate law journey coincided with India's liberalization. And in a way, we've seen the formalization of the economy and the mainstreaming of the market economy in the last 20 or 25 years in particular. And there have been a lot of learnings in that process. One of the learnings that I've come to appreciate a little bit more than at the early stages of my career is that a substantial part of the Indian economy is still informal. But if you look at the legal framework around the economy, it's very much geared towards the formal economy. And this creates unwanted outcomes in terms of imbalances, a lack of appreciation, trust, and compliance with economic players. So, in a way, it's really important for us to understand how we can reframe one element of justice to a part of the economy that's, in a way, forgotten by the law, but still addressed by the law. The informal economy needs to be aware of the law, it needs to comply with the law. And in many ways, it's in the interest of the economy generally for them to be a part of the formal economy. There's a great interest by the government as well for a greater degree of formalization of the economy. I think one part of this is just understanding how the law can play a better and more enabling role for the informal part of the economy. So, in a way, there is a little bit of an intersection or triangulation of the Make in India program, ease of doing business in India, and access to justice. And I think if we can articulate as an industry and as a group of interested lawyers that a lot of our core skill set can actually be put to use, then we have an opportunity to find a way to address this imbalance. Now, as speaking personally for myself, I've always found that I have a great interest in not just myself, but in my organization, which is Trilegal, to do pro bono work. We don't really have an outlet. We don't have the skills to serve pro bono related work in the way it's been articulated today. Pro bono work in the way it's been articulated today is very much in the area of providing access to justice in a court of law. Very rarely does a corporate commercial lawyer and attorney have an avenue to demonstrate her skills in the area of work that they have a specialization in. So how about we understand this incredible capacity that's available? Now, let's just for a moment try and understand the availability of this capacity. What is the extent of this capacity? Let's take for now the top 30, 40, 50 law firms in the country. We are talking here in excess of 5 or 10,000 lawyers that have access to time and expertise that is at this point underutilized. The nature of legal work is such that you work in fits and starts. You're not always working on a matter. If you could take 2% of the time of this this particular group of people, 5 or 10,000 lawyers, you have an incredible amount of capacity that becomes available. That's one side of this capacity, and that's not the extent, that's not even half the extent of this capacity. Alongside that sits law schools. A lot of law schools have been brought into the area of pro bono work through legal aid clinics. I must say that, as young lawyers, many of whom who want to join uh, a mainstream corporate law firm or an in-house counsel do want to do work that hones their skills in that area. Whilst it is important and necessary to develop an idea of skills relating to give back, I think it's very important to understand that many of them would also want to hone their skills in the professions that they want to enter into. So a segment of pro bono work or legal aid clinic related work could potentially be directed in areas relating to the informal economy and the formalization of the informal economy. But when you move away from lawyers and law students and the legal industry, you also have other professions that can be collaborated with. You have other technical professions, like technical institutes that provide technology solutions, liberal arts institutions that have people studying economics and can understand data, data gathering, and data analysis. You have chartered accountants that have a much better understanding of compliance and compliance tools than even lawyers do. So there is an incredible amount of capacity that's available right now that is completely unutilized. At best, it's underutilized. But in most of the cases, it's actually unutilized. So we have an opportunity to unlock that capacity. At this point in time, if we were to frame justice as only a top-down court-driven approach to enforcement of public rights, then it's unlikely that you'll be able to unlock this capacity. And so I'm here today as representing not just myself, but a group of very interested people who would want to change the nature of the debate on what justice means. And I think if you could change the demand side of that equation, the supply side is eager and waiting. So I'd like to make the case for that in this group of people that have both deep interest and awareness and skills to find a way to include us and to see what can be done with this group of people that aren't considered to be, sometimes almost worthy enough to do pro bono work. But I do want to say that we are very interested in client and we do have skills to offer. So that was my pitch for the day, uh, to try and see whether we can be part of this conversation and we can be part of effecting a solution that's aimed at addressing a slightly different problem.